Hey, so let's dive into the life of George Foreman. You know, the guy who was not only a heavyweight champion, but also later became a grilling
Yeah,
magnate.
absolutely.
It's a wild ride from boxing stardom to kitchen legend, right?
Oh, for sure. I mean, his journey from winning titles in his 20s and then staging an improbable comeback in his 40s is just mind blowing.
Exactly. I mean, fighting in the 60s against legends like Chuck Wepner, then thriving in the 70s alongside Joe Frazier and Muhammad Ali. It's like, he wasn't just a fighter, he was a cultural icon.
Definitely. And let's not forget his return to the ring in the 90s. Coming back at 45 to reclaim the world title in 1994 was something out of a movie.
Yeah, he shocked the world, didn't he? Facing Michael Moorer, who was undefeated, and landing that game-changing punch in the 10th round. It's like, his determination defied the usual rules of the sport.
Yep, so inspiring. What's really fascinating is how he oscillated between such high level competition and then breezing into other ventures post boxing. I mean, turning into a grill entrepreneur. Who does that?
I know, right? It's almost poetic in its own way. After witnessing enormous physical battles, he decided to win hearts in kitchens instead. The George Foreman Grill wasn't just a cash cow. It
Yeah,
became
absolutely.
a staple in households.
It's like he found a second ring, but with a twist. The heat was literal this time, cooking up millions in sales.
Exactly. And his personality, that affable charm, really helped. He wasn't all gruff boxer. He had this genuine, droll sense of humor. You know, with lines like, it's a knockout, he embraced the fun side of things.
I get that. But while his grill fame often overshadows his boxing feats, his achievements inside the ring were no small matter. He was truly one of the best heavyweights, even getting inducted into the Boxing Hall of Fame in 2003.
Absolutely. And what really strikes me is how he fought across generations. I mean, he was in the ring with fighters from the 60s all the way to legends like Holyfield. And remember, he even fought Chuck Wepner back in the day. This guy's career spanned so many eras.
Yeah, that's pretty something. And then there's that moment in 1974 at the Rumble in the Jungle against Ali. Now, Foreman was favored there, right? Yet Ali's rope-a-dope proved effective. It's a classic boxing twist.
Right. And while he lost that fight, it didn't diminish his legacy. It just underlined the unpredictable nature of boxing. It's like he was built for both triumph and for resilience in defeat.
Exactly, resilience is key. Oh, and speaking of resilience, his decision later in life to step away from boxing only to return later with that 3-year plan was a fascinating mix of personal drive and perhaps a bit of, well, money motivation.
I agree, though I've got to challenge that for a moment. While some say money played its part, look at his sheer heart for the sport and the battles he fought. It wasn't just financial return, it was reclaiming his place in the
Yeah, I
sport
see
he
that.
loved.
That's a fair point. It's like while the grill business brought in millions, his spirit in the ring and his willingness to take risks, fighting 9 times a year at one point, really defined him.
And let's not brush over his personal transformations. From a tough upbringing and even some rough early choices, he evolved into someone who also dedicated time to ministry and community work. He ran a youth center and even took on commentary for boxing events.
That really shows his multidimensional life. It does. But we also have to acknowledge the controversies that shadowed his later years. The sexual abuse allegations that emerged in courts and the lawsuits really put a dent in his public image, no matter his iconic status.
That's a really delicate topic. It's important to note he denied the allegations and even attempted legal maneuvers to trim the charges, though the judges weren't convinced. It adds a complicated layer to
Yeah,
his
it's not the
legacy.
easiest part to wrap one's head around. Exactly. And while many fans remember him for his positive contributions and his charming commercials, these serious allegations remind us that life can be profoundly complex.
True, and his personal life was equally complex. Married several times, with a huge family including 6 daughters, 5 sons, all of them named George in a funny coincidence, and a wide network of grandchildren.
Right? That family story with all the George is almost legendary in its own right. And how about his ventures in the media? From hosting a short-lived sitcom to making guest appearances on shows like The Masked Singer, Foreman managed to stay relevant in pop culture long after his prime in the ring.
Yeah, he even once showed up in a Venus flytrap costume. Can you imagine that? It's a testament to his charisma that he could pivot so seamlessly between being a top athlete and a media personality.
Truly unique. What's really interesting is this blend of accolades and controversies. It's like, on one hand, you have a man who epitomized determination and reinvention, and on the other, a figure whose past is marred by serious, unresolved issues.
True, and it forces us to question how we remember our icons. How do you weigh the undeniable accomplishments against the darker
That's
chapters
a
of
deep one
life?
indeed. Absolutely. And it really makes you think about legacy. For many, Foreman's name conjures up images of knockouts in the ring and sizzling steaks on the grill, a sort of emblem of American pop culture.
And then there's that famous philosophy he once shared: anything you desire, you can make happen. It's like, well, his own life was a living, breathing example of that mantra, even if it came with a side of controversy.
Yeah, that's the kind of bold statement that sticks with you. It's both inspiring and challenging. While his comeback fights are things of legend, the lawsuits, the public discussions about accountability, those really remind us that no life is without its contradictions.
I mean, when you talk about sports legends, Foreman's journey makes you wonder about the price of fame and the cost of reinvention. It's like an endless round in a boxing match. There's always another punch.
Couldn't agree more. And his impact on popular culture extends far beyond the ring. His grill, his media appearances, even his unique family traditions, all of it contributed to an enduring legacy that's complicated yet unforgettable.
That's so true. It's like each chapter of his life, whether it was his bouts with Frazier and Ali, his unexpected return to win at 45, or his later years in business and media, adds up to a legacy that's as layered as it is
Exactly,
legendary.
layers on layers. Some might say his contribution to boxing is immortalized by his victories, but his impact off the ring, through his entrepreneurial spirit and public persona, really sets him apart.
Right, it's a blend of athletic excellence, business savvy, and a personal story full of ups and downs. Every time you bring up Foreman, you have to acknowledge both the brilliant highs and the turbulent lows.
Yeah, that's the full picture. And you know what's wild? Even in the face of societal challenges and personal controversies, his story remains a part of American lore, a reminder that greatness isn't ever a one-dimensional thing.
Absolutely. It's one heck of a narrative, from the rough and tumble streets of Texas, overcoming personal flaws, to delivering knockouts in the ring, and later knocking out the competition in the world of business.
Yeah, it really is something else. And while we have our debates, it's undeniable that George Foreman stirred up passion across different worlds. Whether it was the roar of the boxing crowd or the sizzle of a grill, he left an indelible mark.
Yep, and his story challenges us to consider what it truly means to reinvent yourself. It's like each punch he threw wasn't just aimed at an opponent, it was a statement about resilience, reinvention, and sometimes the messy nature of life.
Exactly. And that's why discussing his life is always so layered. It's full of lessons about triumph, accountability, and the sheer unpredictability of human nature.
Indeed. George Foreman's legacy, like that unforgettable knockout punch in his comeback win, is something that will be remembered, debated, and celebrated for many years to come.
Yep, truly unforgettable. Well, here's to a man who lived a life full of epic rounds both in and out of the ring. Cheers to the legend that was George Foreman.